All right, we told many of you, come attend this event, even if you're not on the artistic path. Your own sparkle of creativity is useful in whatever you do in life. Our next speaker, Mike Baran, started off as more of an engineer and coder, yet he's learned how to intersect technology with creative design and perspective. We think technology today needs creative thinkers. Welcome, Mike.
Has anyone ever asked you this question? What do you want to be when you grow up? I dislike this question for two reasons. One, it seems to suggest at some point we grow up and just become this person we're going to be on into the future. Secondly, it also seems to suggest that since we're a kid, we pick a career, we follow a straight path, and arrive at success. Easy, no problem. So therefore, there must be something wrong with those of us that don't have an easy answer to that question. And what I want to tell you today is that if you ever feel this way, in the past, in the future, you're not alone. And I want to talk about a concept called integration. As we're learning more about ourselves and what excites us and what fits, we're constantly looking for experiences and interests that excite us. And some of us may find that one thing that really lights us up. But I also think there's a potential to find some really interesting work in integrations. But you just might have to look for it. So all right, let's meet high school Mike. He's into math and science. He likes building things. He's interested in healthcare, helping people in their day-to-day lives. Has no sense in fashion. Not sure if much has changed, but the path that was laid out to him was, you should go to engineering school to solve engineering problems. And in some ways, that's a really good idea, and that was the path that I was on. But getting into graduate school, I had the following realization, that many of the challenges we face in the world can't be solved by one degree or one field alone. So I want to talk about one example in particular, stroke rehabilitation. This is where I spent a lot of time as a graduate student working towards my PhD. So let me give you a little bit of context. A stroke occurs when you have an interruption of blood flow to the brain. And one of the results of it is physical impairment. So imagine suddenly not being able to use your hand or arm to smoothly reach out and grab, say, a glass on a table in front of you. Stroke survivors who experience this go through a lot of physical therapy because with practice and work, they can actually retrain parts of the brain to learn these physical movements again. All right, so if one of our goals was to help stroke survivors in this process, what kind of things would we need? Well, we want to understand how the brain works. We want to know how physical therapists currently work with their patients one-on-one. If it's a piece of technology, likely we're going to need some engineering, some computer science, but what else? If one of our goals is to help people understand how their body is moving spatially, how fast or how slow parts of their body are moving, what about visual arts and its ability to convey space and perspective? What about music, tempo, rhythm? These are really intuitive ways to convey speed. Oh, by the way, how about the day-to-day experience? What is it really like for a stroke survivor to revisit this tool day after day after day? So if you're interested in a healthcare challenge like this, there's a lot of ways that you can approach it. We need people excited about all of these different things to share their knowledge in really cool collaborations. But what I also contend we need are people who can stand in the middle and see that these connections should be made and how they might be made. And this was not an option for me in high school. The narrative, once again, was, well, you kind of pick that one thing, and that's your career path. So I started as an engineer. That's not how I saw myself exclusively. I was curious and interested about all of these different things, and I wanted to interact and explore all of them. So my curiosity kept driving me more and more to the middle. Suddenly I was writing code and designing interactive experiences for healthcare. Never knew that was an option. So I've got good news. If you're excited about being an integrator, it's possible. But I've also got some bad news. It can result in identity crisis. Standing in the middle of all of those areas of knowledge, you quickly lose sense of who you are. Am I still an engineer? Maybe. Am I now a programmer? Well, I mean, I can write some code, but I wouldn't go that far. Am I now an artist? I can't draw, I can paint, I play a little guitar, but I don't think I'm an artist. What am I then? Because taking all of your interests and packaging them up for someone, especially if you're looking to a school to attend or the next job to go to, is really intimidating. For me, it felt like I had my own personal ink blot test that I would walk around and I would hold up to people and go, what do I sound like to you? What does all of this look like to you? And in those conversations with people, I came upon another realization. My identity isn't tied to a degree name or a job title. It's entirely up to me. Yay? Because on the one hand, that's great. It is up to me. But on the other hand, this is up to me now. It's a process. It's a journey of exploring new things and seeing what fits and what doesn't. So let me share where I'm at on my journey. I work as a user experience researcher. So my job and my goal is to try and understand how people work and play with technology in order to try and make it better. As you can see, not a bad place to be an integrator because I get to think about all of these things and try and figure out how they work together. And I love what I do, but I'm still thirsting for those new integrations and new collaborations. So let me share something that's exciting me right now. Building interactive art installations. This is something that I've been really curious about and had been looking for an opportunity to do and explore. And one came along, a 48-hour art hack, a weekend to try and build interactive art and open it up to the public. So I was super excited. I showed up. We're all talking about who we are, what we're interested in, what we'd like to work on, and I thoroughly panicked. Because am I really an artist? Can I even write code? What could I possibly offer this room of amazing, intelligent, capable people? Felt like an imposter. So I took a deep breath, and a whole lot more after that, and showed up that next day with just one expectation. Can I come open and ready to learn as much as I can? And I ended up meeting a group of people who were looking for a programmer. Some of the stuff I had done, some not so much, but I decided to give it a shot. And this was the result. A piece called Mix. It was an interactive installation to invite people to reflect on the social bubbles that we can find ourselves in. The concept was that as people stirred these two fluids together more and more, a camera was watching the motion of those fluids, and that information was being used to generate interactive soundscapes in the room. So, as people stirred these fluids together more and more, the room was filled with more and more harmonious music. And I got to write the code to make those interactions possible. And you know what? It actually worked. And I got to meet this amazing group of artists and learn so much from them. But I also left that weekend with a new insight about myself. This is something that I've actually got some interest in, and I'm now looking to the world around me for more opportunities to do that. So what I've come to believe on my journey is the following. It's that instead of asking each other, what do you want to be, we should instead try practicing asking, who are you? And getting really comfortable that we don't need one perfect answer to that question. So as you go forward and explore who you are and what excites you, I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts to keep in mind. Your interests, your curiosities, dive in as deep as you want to go. But just be okay if you ever reach a limit and you want to move on to something else. All of that knowledge, all of that experience, it comes with you. And who knows, you might find some really interesting opportunities to integrate things together. You are not tied to a degree name, a job title. You define your own identity, and identity's plural. You choose your path forward. And as you're defining that path, look for opportunities to practice and try new things, see what fits, see what doesn't. And just come with that expectation to just be open and learn as much as you can. You never know what you might discover. So I think the best first step with all of this that I would like to suggest is to become more aware of your interests. So preferably in a place that you access or look at commonly, like a phone or a notebook that you use a lot, start jotting down some notes about what do you like to learn about? What kind of challenges do you want to solve? And you can even think smaller picture than this. What art, movies, games, what things really excite you and light you up? Flip that question too. What don't you like? That is just as informative. And come back to this list. Revisit it, edit it, maintain it, because by actively thinking about all of these different things, it really helps when you're looking at the world around you and trying to figure out, what should I explore next? What should I do next? And let me be very, very clear. This is a process and a practice that I'm trying to do and working on myself. So I'm very much on this journey with all of you. If I can be of help, please let me know, because I'm so, so excited for all of you, and I wish you all of the best on your journeys ahead.